Great, so you've decided to continue with this mini course and start to learn something about programming. Congratulations, that's a wonderful decision. I've made this decision maybe about 10 years ago when I was working with as a project manager on some software projects, and I was working with developers, and I was really wondering how these mostly guys were doing this and I got hooked and taught myself how to program using the Python programming language, and you're about to do the same, and that's great. So this is lesson number 1, and in this lesson I will talk about some basics of programming, the basics of the paradigms that we have in programming, or some of them. There are many more, but the most important ones. And you will see how you can write your first Python program yourself. Mostly Python is programming in Python is what we will be doing here is all about scripting. We will be writing instructions for the computer to execute in a linear fashion. So we will say to the computer, first do this, then do this, then do this. That's what we call, or what I call, scripting, as I've written here. And that's the most we will do. That is what we will mostly do. If we want to take it a step further, we can do some procedural programming. That means that we will write some functions that we can execute later and that we can reuse. So we will have a more structured way of working. And then we will also briefly touch on object-oriented programming, because Python is also an object-oriented programming language. It can be used as a scripting or procedural language, but also object-oriented. And many of the standard library functions, so the functions that are already available in the Python programming language, use this paradigm, this object-oriented paradigm. And then there's also functional programming. There's a lot to do about this lately. It's becoming very popular, but we will not touch on this. But I did want to mention it here, so you have kind of a full scope of the most important paradigms that are available. So if you want to write your first program, it's standard in the programming world to write a hello world example. So that's just making the program output the hello world message to the console. So that's in Python 3 easily done by just writing print, which means print to the console, open a bracket, and then between single quotes or double quotes, in this case I use double quotes, write hello world and then close the quotes. So if I run this, it will output hello world to the console. So I will execute it right now. There you go. And then it says hello world. So that's the first program you can write if you just started to learn how to program. As you can see, I've run this within the Atom editor. So I've written my script on the left side, and on the right side the console pops up within the Atom editor. I've used a plugin for Atom to do this. It's the script runner plugin. Let's briefly go into how you could set this up. If you go to the settings, or let me see, usually I just use a command, control comma, and then it opens the settings page. And then if you go to install and then you search here for script. Run scripts, enter, and then there's this package, the script package, and what I'm currently using is Script Runner. And I've already installed it, but you can, if you have not installed it yet, you will see a button like this, and you can install it. And then if you use the Alt-X key, it will run the console and run the program or the script that you are currently in. So if I do this again, I'll close this out. I'm in this script, hello world.py, and I do Alt-X, then it will run it. So let's do this from scratch in the idle editor, because that's another way to do it. So if you open the idle editor, then you have the console, and here you can start typing things like hello world, and that will give an error, syntax error, because you have to give a command here. So if you write print, as we done in the scripted file, print, and then write hello world, exclamation mark, closing the quotes and the brackets, and then enter, it will put out on the console hello world. So I made a typo there, but that's not too important. Then another way to execute this is to put it in a file, like I've done in the Atom editor. So let's see how you can do this. So on the left top you have the menu, and you go to File, and then you do New File. It will open a editor. So you can simply write here what you've just written, print hello world. Oh, I've got the quotes, don't forget the quotes. Yes, and then you can do File, you can do Save, and you can just save it anywhere you like. Let's just call it hello, and it will give the extension py, need the extension py, so it can be identified as a Python program. Now if you press the F5 button, it will execute this program and run it. So as you can see here, it has run the hello.py file, and it prints out hello world. Let me just put it. So this is your first program, printing out hello world to the console. It's nothing much, you might say, but it's the first step in learning how to program. And in the next video we will go into how what you can do with text and working with text, because Python is very useful for working with text, and we will have a look at how this works and what's possible. So I hope to see you in the next video, and hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below, and give a thumbs up if you like this series of videos. Thanks.